welcome back to 9180. Today is Halloween, and what better place to be on Halloween than the Little House of Horrors? You may have noticed that I'm dressed as a witch, but I'm not just any old witch. You see, the other house that we've purchased to renovate is called the Carriage House of Wildwood Estates, and so today I am dressed as the Witch of Wildwood. And what is the one thing that every witch needs in her cottage? It's a kitchen. She needs to be able to brew up her concoctions. And I don't know if you've been able to see behind me, but we have a kitchen. We have a kitchen. Now, we should have had a kitchen a couple of months ago. In fact, we should have been on the market a couple of months ago, but I'm not going to let that fact dampen the excitement for what you see behind me. I'm mostly excited to share this with those of you who've been following our journey from the very beginning, who remember exactly why we call this place the Little House of Horrors, and remember exactly how disgusting the original kitchen was. The bright white kitchen you see behind me is a complete and total transformation from what was here before. Now, we're not completely finished. We do still need to get the funds from the bank to buy the appliances. This is where the dishwasher will go, and over here's where the range will go, and under that cabinet is where the microwave will be attached, and just to my left is the spot for the refrigerator. It's got a cabinet overhead, and that's pretty much all we have to do. We've got just a few little tiny things here and there, and then we're finally going to be done with this project. I can't believe it. The kitchen you see behind me, it's pretty much how I imagined from the very beginning that this kitchen could be. The shaker white cabinets, the open shelving. There were a few little changes to the original design that had to be made, and I'm learning that when you're flipping a house, you just kind of have to roll with the punches. But the overall design through the house that I've been trying to achieve is kind of an urban cottage slash farmhouse chic look. And the open shelving goes a long way in achieving that look. It is extremely popular right now, but open shelving has always been around. So it's also a classic look. And anytime you can combine what's trending with what's timeless, do it. I'm personally obsessed with open shelving. I think it's a beautiful way to display your nice dishes, your cookbooks, your house plants, your little glass containers of spices. You can display your pasta inside of mason jars. And even if you need to store more unsightly things on your open shelving, you can always put those uglier items inside of something pretty, like a woven basket, for example. When you do opt to go with open shelving, you do lose some of your closed storage for things like pantry items. But I don't know if you remember, Randy and I added an entire pantry to the kitchen, so it really makes it not so much of an issue. Also, for an older home, this kitchen is really quite large and quite open, and there's plenty of room to add a charming little kitchen island if you did need extra storage, maybe to put pots and pans underneath or something, but really not that big of a deal. One of the big changes in design that had to be made had to do with the countertops. I really wanted butcher block countertops and white beadboard backsplash. Both of those items really speak to the cottage farmhouse look I'm going for. Plus, the mudroom next door is all white beadboard, and I really wanted to be able to tie the two spaces together. And had the kitchen been completed when it was supposed to be, we could have had that butcher block countertop, because when I first selected it as our counter, it was on sale and it was very comparable in price to what we paid for this. But because the kitchen did not get done when it was supposed to be, that sale ended, and it took the countertops way out of the budget, and I still really wanted that white beadboard backsplash. So my next choice was to go with a solid white slab of Formica. It was much cheaper than the butcher block, but it would still look good with the beadboard. Unfortunately, my contractor explained to me that the labor for that would be a lot more because they would basically have to build up the entire base for the counter to be attached to the cabinets. So that was out of budget. So ultimately, I ended up deciding on this laminate countertop from Lowe's. The colors are perfect. The grays and whites in it match the color choices that we've made throughout the house perfectly. But it's kind of a granite look. It's meant to look like granite or marble. And I really don't think, personally, I don't think that goes very well with the white beadboard backsplash. So we decided to go ahead and not do the beadboard backsplash in here, but I still think everything turned out great. Another change was I really wanted a farmhouse sink. And between the cost of the sink itself and the custom cabinet that you would need for that, it was just way out of budget. But we did get this really nifty faucet. It's really cool. It's one of those ones where it also doubles as a sprayer, so that's pretty neat. And for the most part, I really love how everything is turning out in here. And I think that's about all I have for you today. So this is the Witch of Wildwood, wishing you a happy and safe Halloween from the Little House of Horrors.